Welcome to the Village of East Hampton Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Friday, August 13th, 2021. First, we'd like to welcome Kerry Doyle to the zoning board. Now we have the minutes of July 9th, 2021. May I have a motion?
So moved to adopt.
Yep, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have 4 determinations, and I will read the determinations, and you can review the file online, right, Pam? Is that the best way to review? Yeah. Thank you. So the first determination, in the application of Alan B. and Jacqueline K. Mitchell, 18 Dayton Lane, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 2-7-9.7, to legalize existing gross floor area and swimming pool equipment, and to legalize and expand coverage is approved. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Pam, can you poll the board?
Mr. McGurk?
Yes?
Mr. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Okay, well, on the second determination, in the application of Alfred Ross, 33 Cove Hollow Road, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 12-10-4, to construct a staircase, ramp, floating dock, and storage sling is approved. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Pam, can you please poll the board?
Mr. McGurk?
Yes?
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Barris?
Yes.
And the third determination, in the application of Austin 99 Buell Lane, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 8-2-6, to construct a pool house within an existing building. Barn is approved. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Pam?
Mr. McGurk?
Yes?
Mr. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
And then the last determination, in the application of 106 Briar Patch Road LLC, 106 South Briar Patch Road, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 12-4-21-1, 19-2, and 20-2, to raise existing improvements and construct a 2-story residence, patios, and swimming pool is approved. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Pam, can you poll the board?
Mr. McGurk?
Yes?
Mr. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
I had hoped we would discuss this in work session. There's no question in my mind that warrants a variance, but I think the variance being granted is too big. I vote no.
Okay, thank you. So we have the continuing hearing of 15 Pleasant Lane LLC.
Vote on adjournments? Thank you.
Oh, sorry, just hold 1 second. We do have 4 adjournments, JABR LLC, 209 Further Lane. We have Howard and Nancy L. Kurtz, 5 Jones Road. We have 234 Cove Hollow LLC, 234 Cove Hollow Road, and we have 34 Darby Lane LLC, 34 Darby Lane. I need a motion?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. You're up. Thank you.
Good morning, how is everybody?
Thank you.
So after our last hearing, we kind of went back to the drawing board in realization that we were, out of line in a couple areas, but we did, in the redesign, actually, we came up with a project that was a lot better in my eyes, and I think in a lot of the eyes of the community. We were able to reduce the number of variances we were going before the board with. Biggest being the swimming pool. We were able to limit it to just a rear yard setback rather than 2 side yard setbacks by just moving the orientation of it. I don't know if everyone saw in the survey, we took the suggestion that the board had made and put the pool equipment at the rear property setback, keeping it within the side yard setbacks. So at this point, all we would need is a rear yard setback for the pool and the pool equipment itself. Furthermore, the GFA of the house, originally we had a proposed GFA of 441 square feet, or 26% over what was allowed. We reduced the overall size of the house substantially, and at this point we are only looking for a 182 square foot GFA variance, or 10.7%. I believe this goes a little bit more in line with the character of the street, as well as and just the overall size of the houses in the area. I guess at this point, I'd just like to open if there's any questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Anybody
you're
jump
gonna,
in here?
you're gonna sync the pool equipment, correct?
Correct. To help with some of the noise and everything, we're going to sink that in the back there in a railroad tie pit.
And we're just back in commercial.
Back in commercial, correct.
Okay.
I don't think I have any issues with the application at this point. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak?
I'd just like to say that thank you to the applicant for listening to the board and making the adjustments. That's a big help.
Yeah, we were actually, with the board's recommendation, it turned out to be a little bit better of a layout and an overall project, so we appreciate the input.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to close the hearing?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have our only hearing for the day. Pam, can you read the notice? And can you also say who's sitting on it? So we,
Anybody recusing themselves? No? Then it will be everyone except the alternate.
okay, great, thank you.
Application of Margaret Van Ert, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 301-8427, variances from Chapter 278 zoning to legalize coverage and the expansion of accessory structures. A 434 square foot variance is requested from Section 278-3A9A to allow 2,585 square feet of coverage to remain where the legally pre-existing coverage appears to be 2,151 square feet. The maximum permitted coverage by zoning is 1,678 square feet. A 23-foot variance is required from Section 278-3A5A to legalize the expansion of a patio located approximately 12 feet from the front yard lot line where the required setback is 35 feet. A 2-foot variance is required from Section 278-3A5B to legalize the expansion of a patio located approximately 8 feet from the rear yard lot line where the required setback is 10 feet, and any other relief necessary. The subject property is 5,892 square feet in area and is located at 14 Millville Lane in residence districts R40 and RE. This project is classified as a type 2 action in accordance with SEQA.
Is the applicant present?
Good morning, Robert Conley of Tarbin Lester, 132 North Main Street, East Hampton, New York, for the applicant, Margaret Van Ert. Maggie is here today in the audience. First off, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to be heard this morning. I will be as brief as possible. We're here today in the hopes of legalizing apparent violations on the property, some that existed since at least 2004. It appears that the masonry and stone walls, walkways, air conditioning units, and window wells were neglected to be included in the lot coverage calculation by the prior surveyor back in 2006. Based on that survey, this board granted a prior property owner a variance to allow a total lot coverage of 2,151 square feet. Had the lot coverage been properly calculated back in 2006, it would have been determined that the lot coverage was actually 2,604 square feet. With respect to the expansion of the west patio, which opened this Pandora's box, we know from talking to the abutting neighbor that this patio has been in its current configuration since at least 2014, when those property owners purchased their property. That property owner has submitted a letter of support, which I submitted to the village earlier in the week. From looking at the 2006 survey, the west patio had an odd shape, and I speculate that the prior property owners squared it off to make it a little bit more useful. The expansion, however, did not cause the patio to be any closer to the property lines than what was approved by this board in its 2007 determination. What happened in essence is it was made 42 square feet larger.
And it actually looks like it came back towards the house, the expansion.
Right.
Right, did it go like,
Yeah.
do you have a copy of that? Yeah, kind of an odd shape, yeah. Go ahead.
Importantly, however, the east patio was also decreased in size at some time by some 72 square feet. So the total lot coverage today is actually less than what it was in 2007. The total lot coverage today is 2,585 square feet. But if you exclude the items that the prior surveyor excluded, the lot coverage would be 2,132 square feet, which was what was shown on the survey by Twin Forks Land Surveyors. Whereas in 2007, when the variances were granted, the actual lot coverage was 2,604 square feet. So today, there's approximately 19 square feet less lot coverage than there was in 2007. We would submit that a grant of the requested variances would not have any adverse impact on the character of the neighborhood. The improvements that require relief are not visible from the street, and the only neighbor that could have a conceivable objection to this supports the application. Without the variance, Maggie would not be able to maintain the property as it's currently configured, which she would very like to do. There'll be no physical or environmental impacts by the grant of these variances. As I've just said, that the total lot coverage is actually less today than it was in 2007. And since this is a type 2 action pursuant to SECR, it's presumed that a grant of area variances would not adversely impact the environment. Mathematically speaking, this is a substantial variance. I wouldn't deny that. However, the substantiality is mitigated by the fact that the relief requested will have no impact on the surrounding properties, that the items that were excluded from the lot coverage calculation were all depicted on surveys that were on file with the village and were even included on the last C of O. I would submit that this is not a self-created hardship. Maggie purchased the property in December 2020. We did make an application for an updated C of O. We had to close prior to the physical copy of the updated C of O being issued because Maggie was moving across the country with her young daughter. She was starting school in January. But we were also told by the seller's attorney that the house had passed the updated C of O inspection on the day of closing, which technically was true. The house did pass the inspection, but obviously there were issues with the survey.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
No, I don't have a problem with this.
Carrie?
It's been there like
Okay.
for a while.
Okay, Joe?
No problem with it, just a question, I guess, to the, to the village. Are we on top of reviewing these things going forward, so the kind of oversight doesn't slip by in terms of calculations, just for future permit applications?
We do our best, but it's hard, you rely on a licensed land surveyor to provide the calculation, and other than that, it's very difficult to add up pavers and AC units, so. But we do our best.
I would echo the same thing. It really is, has to do with the surveyor, how, what they consider coverage, even although we have a definite definition of it, it just depends how it's shown.
So, just so I'm clear, had they calculated it correctly prior, what's being asked for today is 19 square feet less?
Correct.
Okay, all right, then I'm good.
I think
Thank you.
we're good, thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to close the hearing, assuming nobody's here from the public.
No one's opposed, you can make a motion to grant to, subject to a written determination, which will be provided, if you care to do that.
Sure.
I think
I'll second that.
all right, so we have a couple motions here. We have one to close the,
One to close the hearing.
all right, so we have a second on the closing?
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have another motion on the floor.
To
Grant subject to written determination.
grant subject
So
to
moved.
written determination.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no
Do
more,
we need to be polled on that?
Sure.
I think probably need to be recorded.
Ms. Doyle?
Aye. So,
Mr. Rose?
Yes?
Mr. McGurk?
yes?
Mr. McMullen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connell?
Yes.
Okay, if we have no other business, a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Enjoy the day.